Bruh, bruh, bruh. Well, hey there, everybody. So, we find ourselves at interesting times in this channel. I am nearing 1,000 subscribers, and I hope to get there. I don't know what to do to get there. I just sort of do what I know how to do and trust people to tell me what they want. And that helps to deliver the content that you like, hopefully. I hope. I've no indications other than what you give me, and it seems like people are having a pretty decent time, more or less. Yeah, this is me scrolling through my library. I should do it more slowly. I'll do it more slowly on the upstroke. But anyway, yeah, so it's an interesting time for the channel. It's an interesting time for me. And I just thought that I'd take a moment because one of you requested it to sort of give the genesis of this channel, where it comes from, why I do it. And, it'll help as a welcome to those of you who are new. Sorry, this kind of herky jerky motion. Uh, if I scroll on the mouse wheel, it goes way too fast. I have found this to be true. So you're going to have to put up with some herky jerky motion. This is me just literally pushing the keyboard, the up button on the keyboard to try and make it scroll. I know I could probably go in big picture mode, but I hate big picture mode. Don't we all? I don't know. Does anyone play in big picture mode? Drives me crazy. Any hoodle. Uh, so yeah, let's talk about what I mentioned briefly in a comment, and one of you was like, "You should tell that story in a video." Many of you have heard this story in both long and short form. So to benefit those of you who have already heard it many times over, I am going to tell the Russian hacker story. And so if that is of interest to you, wait, think one of the naughty games slipped by. Oh boy. That looks like what, yeah, 4.7 hours. The 4.7 hours is going to come into play uh as part of this explanation of how Russian hackers took over my Steam account and bought me like 600 some odd games. 700 some odd games? I don't know, a lot of games. And then I've purchased a lot of games since then. It's a stupid number of games. Um and so yeah, I have one of the largest and weirdest and in some ways most diverse backlogs on Steam, which is what makes my channel what it is. And you're seeing my backlog as I'm herkety jerkety scrolling up. So here's the story. Back in the olden days, Steam was garbage, like absolute garbage, just complete and utter boggity, snaggity, ugly, gross, slow your computer down garbage. And people hated it. And what's that dude? Oh, hold up. There's a guy whose name I'm going to have to look up. It'll be a moment for you, but it's going to be frustrating for me if I don't look it up. Gabe Newell. Yeah, he's, you know, president of Steam, of Valve Software and whatnot. Like, he's the guy. He's the reason that Steam is a thing. He famously said that, like, oh wait, I was going up. That's right. Ah, I remember what I was doing. Uh, so Mr. President of Steam, I'm trying to remember what pace I was going before, and apologies if I'm going faster or slower than previously. I don't intend. Anyway, regardless, here's the thing is that he famously said Gabe Newell, the man, the myth, the legend, whose name I could not remember if you gave me a million years. Um, anyway, he said that like piracy happens not because, people are criminals or greedy or awful. Um, oh, I'm sorry if you are very religious. There are a couple of kind of blasphemous games in there. It's funny. Yeah, also some of the games um that aren't specifically adult games but are more adult rated. I have purchased those for myself because, some of them are good games. Uh what I hid from you is a literal ton, 98. Let me pause right here. 98 games I had to hide from my library so that you wouldn't think that I had purchased them for myself, because they are such like, oh, they're not even games, most of them. But the reason that they exist is 4.7 hours. Uh, the Russians who hacked my account were auto playing to get like the jewels and gem packs and cards and whatnots. I still to this day do not understand how that marketplace works, nor do I care to find out. I could have a million credits. I could be getting free games. And I'm like, Steam, I don't care about your system. Anyway, but that's why someone stole my account. I'm telling the story out of order. Uh, but here's the thing. Oh, yeah, there's the other blasphemous game. Apologies if you find that upsetting. That is not the intent. I've got a lot of weird things in my account, as you can see. So it's there are many things that I have left to. Oh, quick tangent. Disney, who I complained about in the video, uh copyright hit my video just for showing gameplay footage that was of me playing their game. And so, uh, if you're wondering, one of many reasons I hate Disney is how litigious they are. Think about like, litigiosity and what it says about people. Like nobody likes super litigious people. Nobody. And Disney are some of the worst. So yeah. Anyway, I'm still upset about that because, like, I'm not even monetized yet. I'm still doing this for the love of the game and nothing else, you know? And for them to be like, and by the way, we saw that you used our copyrighted material and we know that you're not monetized, but we're just making sure that you know that our foot is ready to go on your neck at the slightest provocation. I'm like, wow. So that's how it be, huh? Thanks, Disney. Anyway, regardless. So, if anybody wonders, there are other reasons why I'm not happy with Disney, but I'll keep those to myself for the time being. But, like, yeah, they're not a perfect little company that's all super happy fun times all the times. Anyway, regardless. So Gabe Newell famously said that piracy and things like that are a services problem. They're not a greed of the people who are accessing them that way problem. Um, and so like the fact that Steam has become what it is, and the fact that summer sale and winter sale, and to a much lesser extent, which is why I don't always do cover the sales. I didn't last year because I was moving and starting a new job. Maybe this year we'll see. But yeah, it's a services problem. It's a problem of, are you providing the people with what they need, in terms of, how do I access my content? How do I play it? And when Steam first started, it would take over your system resources, it would suck them dry, because this was in the days of very old and very terrible computers, that even though they were top of the line, like, I got a bunch of free money for college at first, because I'm both smart and privileged, I guess. Both of those things. Anyway, so yeah, like, uh so I got a lot of money for college, and I used thousands of dollars of it to purchase what was then a top of the line gaming rig. And yeah, as many people in college do, like, this may be you, dear listener, and if it's not you, sorry. Anyway, regardless, like, so yeah, I had a really good computer for the time, but Steam was such bloated crap that I would download, like, pirated versions of games that I had purchased physical copies of, just to bypass Steam. That's how bad it was. And that's why, like, yeah, Gabe Newell, you are correct. It's a services problem. I was pirating games that I owned because the service was so bad. And then they fixed it, and now it's the Steam that we all know and love. That is a very shortened version of that story, which, unfortunately, this is not a shortened version of the story that I am supposed to be telling, which is how Russians got my account. Well, because Steam was so terrible, when I bought the first game that required, you did not have a choice, you could not play this game, even though you owned a physical copy in the orange box. Of course, we're talking the orange box Half-Life 2 with Portal and TF2 and, a bunch of cool stuff. Like, Half-Life 2 episode 1 is on there, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, bunch of cool stuff. Really good collection of things that I downloaded hacked versions of just to not play them on Steam. And so, like, yeah, I had a Steam account, but I didn't actually use it. And so there was no credit card information, no nothing attached to this account. It just had my email attached to it. Now, um, fast forward like 7, 8 years. I don't know. It was a while. And my children are like, they've played Minecraft to death, as we all did, and they're like, we want Terraria, we want Terraria. And I'm like, okay, all right, we'll get Terraria. But that meant I had to get Steam, and I had forgotten that I had even made a Steam account. But this is the only email address that I use, or used at the time. I have several others since then. And so I was like, wait, who's using my account? Because this is the only email that I had at the time and the only password that I used for everything. And I did a forgot my password thing, and I got a contact from Steam, and they were like, you're not in Russia. And I was like, yeah, it's a weird thing for you to be telling me right now. And um and then they're like, yeah, this account's tied to Russia and like a Russian. And I'm like, I am not now, nor have I ever been a Russian. And Steam, and this is by email, by the way. We are sending back and forth emails. Um, because I had to email like their team of crack investigators to be like, I am the rightful owner of this account. Um, and what ended up happening, the ultimate thing was they're like, well, how can you prove that it's your account? And I was like, I will send you a picture of me holding the orange box with the serial code visible. And they're like, that'd be pretty good evidence that it's your account. And I'm like, yeah, you'd think so. And so I sent it, and then they were like, okay, we unlock your account. Here's your new password. Change your password as soon as you get into the account, obviously, and have a lovely day. And when I logged in, there were all these freaking games, like so many games, an incredible number of games. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them had been played for exactly 4.7 hours, which means that these Russians auto ran each of these games. They might have just run them all at the same time, because a lot of them are like really, chintzy, cheap, super indie type games. And some of them, those super indie games, are pretty darn fun, and they're what I highlight in my under a dollar segment, like that and the budget stravaganza, which I'll be doing later in the Steam sale. It's a tradition. I'm gonna keep it a little shorter this year, but like I had all of these games and they were mine, and I did not purchase them with my credit card. I don't know whose credit card was used to purchase them. Steam might know. I have never asked them about it because I think yeah, is my account, my information was being used. It's not like, I didn't kind of have my identity stolen there. So yeah, I'm not gonna complain that like all of a sudden I've got all these games, and every year I've added to the list, and this channel exists as a way of helping me to organize this, because it is an undertaking. Like, look at this. I've reviewed 349 games. I have 488 not categorized. And they're uncategorized because they're not in my review next file, which has 158 games. I have so many games. My backlog is stupid. So, yeah, welcome to the channel. This is what I do. I try to turn these numbers into something less than that, which is hard. Anyway, welcome. And hope you enjoy it here. Like, we try and keep a really chill vibe. I appreciate all constructive criticism, as long as it's constructive. Sometimes even if it's not, as long as it's right. We'll put it that way. Long as I agree with it, there you go. And I try to be pretty agreeable, and so does everybody else around these parts. So if that describes you, welcome aboard. Glad you're here. Thank you for helping me get a little bit closer to 1,000. And hey, I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.